Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Veera, Cloud Architect. Today we are going to discuss about AWS VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. It is also known as logically isolated resources from the AWS cloud. Imagine the servers located in AWS. It may physically located in a different places. For example, today you are creating one server and it will be created the server the rack which is available today, and tomorrow if you are coming back and you are asking like AWS to create one server, and it will create the server where the next available space. Okay, so in this case our the for the same project, if you create a multiple servers, they may physically located in a different place. Then how we can have a communication between those two, or like those servers? So the for that only we are creating a VPC to isolate our resources from the AWS cloud. Imagine I have four servers, so those four servers will be grouped together logically, and it will be placed virtually into one infrastructure that is called VPC. Okay, so these are all the components available in VPC. So like first we need a VPC, and then we will be having a subnets, and on the top we will be having an internet gateway and route tables to give a internet connections. So let me quickly show this diagram and explain. Okay, so this imagine this is the AWS environment, and I am going to have a EC2 instance on it. Okay, so before creating EC2 instance, I should create a infrastructure first. So for the infrastructure, I am creating a virtual private cloud. Okay, and I have to give some IP ranges for my virtual private cloud. So I am giving 10.0.0.0/16. So this is called CIDR. CIDR means classless interdomain routing. In all the cloud computing, they are using CIDRs only. So basically, it's not exactly similar to the networking IP address. So it is quite similar, but they have some different rules for the cloud. So the in CIDR, the first two bits, right? So the first two bits are constant; it's not going to change, and only those the next two bits will be changed. So that is the reason why in maximum IP we can give is 2 power 8 plus 2 power 8, which is 2 power 16. So which means inside the VPC we can have 65,536 IPs. Okay, so I will come back to all these configuration details later on to the next video, but imagine this is how our infrastructure is going to be. Okay, so as a part of a VPC, we have to create the components. First, we have to create a VPC, and then the subnets are the smaller network that enable to group resources together based on their security and available requirements. Okay, so imagine like some of the servers can be web servers, and some of them can be database servers. So their database servers are going to be more private, and these web servers are going to have a internet access, and the people like outside people can have a look at the web pages, and also it's gonna have some liberty on accessing from HTTP port. So that's how the security level of the yeah, servers are different from each other. So that's why we are grouping the same set of servers and placing into the subnet. Okay, and then internet gateway. So internet gateway is the one, because when you create a VPC, it will become a private, and even the user who is creating the VPC, they cannot access the EC2 instance. So in that case, we should have the internet access for that VPC. So for that, we are creating an internet gateway to give a internet access, and then route table. So route table is going to specify which subnet is going to have a internet access. Okay, if I have a multiple subnets, so if I want to give only one subnet to have internet access, we can connect that subnet into the route table. Okay, let me quickly uh, tell some limits of the VPC. So in like VPC, we can have a so we can have a 5 VPC per region. So and then we can have 200 subnets per VPC, and we can have 5 CADR per VPC, and we can have 500 security group per VPC. And like there are some network ACLs, like we can have around 200 network ACL per VPC, and elastic IPs we can have 5 VPC elastic IPC by default, but obviously we can increase. So all these limits, we can increase by giving a request to AWS. So I'm just telling about the default values. And then VPC pairing connection we can have 125, and we can have a VPN connection, 10 VPN connection per VPC, and transit gateway we can have about like 5 transit gateway attachments per VPC. So these are all the limits for the VPC. Let me go to the demo quickly. Let me create a VPC and give the infrastructure for the EC2 instance. So this is my AWS console, and here you can find the regions. So I'm going to create a VPC in North Virginia. Okay. Okay, this is my regions. I'm choosing a North Virginia, and then in search bar you can search VPC. Okay, you can find the VPC, and obviously see it's isolated cloud resources. Okay. Yeah, now I'm into the VPC screen, and you can choose in the left hand pan, you can choose your VPC. And already I have 3 VPCs, so one is default and I have another 2 more. And now I'm going to create a VPC called Vira. So create VPC and select the option called VPC only and give a name. I'm going to give a name called Vira VPC. Okay, naming is more important. Always give some particular prefix to understand like why you are creating this resource. So then for example, like this VPC, I'm going to have some more components. So for all the components, if I give a prefix called Vira, so I can understand, okay, this is for a Vira, this VPC is for Vira, and this VPC, this subnets and the internet gateways belongs to Vira VPC. So I can easily identify. And then IP address. Okay, so for the uh, for this particular VPC, I have to give some CADR value, say classless interdomain routing, as I said earlier, right? So I have to give some IP ranges. So for this, I'm giving 10.0.0.0 slash 16. 16 means the maximum IP ranges. So 2 power 16 is 65,536 IPs. So like we can have that many number of IPs inside this VPC. And if you wanted to go with the IPv6, we can choose any of them, but obviously as a private VPC, so private IP for a VPC, 65,000 536 IP is more than enough, and we can have 4 more additional CADR per VPC as well. So it's going to be, the number is going to be huge, so we are okay with the IPv4. And then there is a option called tenancy, default or dedicated. Default means like these resources inside this VPC can be created in any racks, but if you choose a dedicated, it's gonna allocate a single rack for all your resources. And if you want to give any other additional tags, you can add the new tags, but this is the for now name Vira VPC is enough for me, so I'm creating a create VPC. So the VPC is created now. So you can see all the the parameters for the VPC, VPC ID, DNS host names, DNS resolution, etc. But look at this, DNS host name is disabled. Okay, by default they is to disable it. If you want DNS name for this VPC, you can go action and then edit VPC settings, And you can find at the bottom there is option called enable DNS hostname. Hit that one and save. Okay, so now I have enabled the DNS hostname. So when I create a EC2 instance, I'll be having a DNS hostnames. And I have created a VPC as a part of 4 components. I have created 1 component. Now I am going to create a subnets. So left hand side you can find, sorry, right hand corner you can find create subnet. Click it and you can choose your VPC ID, and this is my VPC ID, Vera VPC, and then like I'm going to give a subnet name. So as I said, like I'm going to use a same prefix Vera, and this one I'm going to use it for a web servers subnet. Okay, so I have given as a web server subnet, and then we have to choose. So here only we are going to choose like which data center we are going to use, because this is the region. North Virginia is a region, so at least 2 to 3 data centers combined together is called region. Okay, in North Virginia there are 6 availability zones, which means availability zones is nothing but a data center, physical data center. So in North Virginia we have 6 data centers. So I'm going to place it in US East 1A. Okay, so my the VPC, this particular subnet is going to be created in US East 1A, and I'm going to give the IP range for a subnet. Okay, earlier I gave the IP range for the VPC, and now I'm going to give a IP range for a subnet. So this VPC has 65,536 IP, right? And I'm going to give first 256 IP for the first subnet. Okay, for that I'm giving the same starting value because I need a first 256 IP. So 10.0.0 slash 24. 24 means, like when we give a 24, it means so the overall value is 2 power 32, and if you reduce the 2 power 32 minus 2 power 24, which is 2 power 8, which means 256 IPs. So for this particular VPC, sorry, subnet, I'm going to have a 256 IPs. Okay, I'm going to add one more subnet along together. So hit add new subnet. Okay, and I'm going to name it as a database server. So DB server subnet. Okay, Vera DB server subnet. So this one, for now, I'm going to use a same data center, which means same availability zone, and I'm gonna give the second 256 IP. So which is the second 10.0.0, sorry, 1.0 is next available bit slash 24. Okay, so now I am going to create a 256 IP from this IP range. Okay, hit create subnet. So I'm having 2 subnets. Okay, so it's created now, and I want this web server subnet, like whenever I create any EC2 instance, it's already having a private subnet, sorry, private IPs. I also need a private public IPs. So for that, select this one and go to action, edit subnet settings, enable auto assign public IPv4 address. So if I enable this, I will also have a public IPs. Okay, so AWS will automatically create some public IP, but this IP is a dynamic IP. So whenever I restart the server, the IP will keep changing. Okay, some cases I don't want a dynamic IPs. In that case, I can choose a elastic IP. But I will tell how we can create a elastic IP and how we can attach into server, those things later on my videos. Okay, so for now I have the public IP for the web server subnet, and now I'm going to create an internet gateway. Okay, so internet gateway is to give a internet access to my servers. So I'm gonna create an internet gateway, give a name Vira, same prefix Vira IGW. Okay, internet gateway. So internet gateway is so simple, just give a name and hit create internet gateway, so it's created. And remember, we have to attach into our VPC. So attach to VPC, select that, or you can click it from here, action attach to VPC, and choose your VPC and hit attach internet gateway. So now I have the internet gateway attached into my VPC. Okay, now let's go to route table. Whenever you create a VPC, one route table will be created by default, which means like automatically. Okay, so imagine I have created a VPC. For that they have created a route table. So quickly I will just edit a name. Okay, because I just wanted to remember like which is my uh, route table. So I'm giving a name called same prefix Vira route table. Okay, so I have given a name called Vira route table. So let me go and edit it. So to edit, select that route table, and there are two options we have to make it. So one is routes and another one is subnet association. First select route, edit route. So now we have to select what are the which network wants to like connect with internet gateway. So I have to add route. Here you can give the default value called 0.0.0/0. So this is to specify all the resources belongs to this in this VPC is going to connect with the particular internet gateway. So we have to choose the internet gateway from this target option, internet gateway. Our internet gateway is is coming up, so we are selecting it. Okay, and then save changes. So now all our VPC carbonates is belongs to this internet gateway. And now we have to specify which the subnet needs to get internet access. Imagine I have web server and database, right? So those two subnets are there. So I don't want my database server to get a internet access. So let me choose that. So there are two subnets. I'm going to choose the web server subnet to get the internet access, because I don't want my database server subnet to get internet access. Okay, I have selected this option, so it will get the internet access. Save. So that's all, everyone. So we have created an infrastructure. Now we are good to have a easy to instance on this infrastructure. So this is let me quickly recap. So to create an infrastructure, we have created a VPC and then subnets, route tables, and internet gateway. So that's everything for today. We can connect with the next video. Please sync up with Cloud Synapse. Thank you.